You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our featured presentation.
I'm the man, and the man feels no pressure. I am the man that everyone fears.
You are now entering the vicious circle.
You are facing a fuel-injected suicide machine!
I'm the man. When I walk, the ground shakes. I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. They have been waiting below the surface. Shake the earth underneath the giant fire. Shake the earth underneath the giant.
And welcome to the vicious circle. Sid, how's your Sunday?
Doing good, Rob. How about yours?
Doing really good. Just finished up my supper.
What'd you have? I saw that plate of food, but I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah, let's bring that up real quick. We'll go through that. Here is mine. I had it's chicken, but basically refried. We put it in a pan with some water, fried it up, and that way it's got more moisture to it.
Okay.
We had corn, and then we had refried potatoes, and then on top of that is a chipotle dressing.
Okay. What is refried potatoes? What do you mean refried? Fried and fried again?
Well, yeah, we made mashed potatoes, and
Okay.
we're in the fridge, and I took them out. Put 'em in
Oh,
the pot pan.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, it's like a potato cake.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
Yeah, that's a good way to extend your food, make it last a little longer.
Exactly. And with just that chipotle ranch on there was great. You know?
Yeah, it would be good.
So what did you have to eat?
I had that's cast iron baked chicken, Brussels sprouts with broccoli and a little rice.
Brussels sprouts. Man, I haven't had those in forever.
I roasted those too with garlic and olive oil and butter.
So nice. Now, normally Jeremy is like the first one here because Jeremy says, "What's up, Rob and Sid? Greetings from Imperial." The first person to comment today was Samantha. She commented before we even went live.
All right.
She says, "I'm here," and so are we. So how did your day go then today? Was it a nice relaxed day for you?
No, man, I was at the gym at 5 o'clock. I had, of course, I should be making these gains, but sometimes they even surprise me. I didn't think I'd ever be, excuse me again. I went to the nose and ear doctor, and they're going to get me some antibiotics tomorrow. But no, my power cleans are just really jumping off the chart right now. And I was able to leg press almost 400 pounds today. That doesn't sound like a lot, but for me it was because I started with nothing. Because I took off a couple of years because of my knee for hurting it on leg press, and to be able to do that was pretty good. Just had a great day in the gym. Everything, was one of the first days I actually was happy to be there.
Really?
And sometimes, meaning like I was a little bit sore, so I was able to get past that. As 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock wasn't as big of a challenge as it is sometimes. When you get out of that routine, and I've said it before too, even when I started this 30 years ago, 3:30 in the morning is not fun. I'm nauseated, but you just have to get past that.
Yeah.
But now it's fun to get past that. The little things like getting in the shower a little earlier, got myself up with a little extra time. It wasn't a rush to get 2 miles from my house. Had my oatmeal, read a little bit, got up there, listened to there was nobody there, so I listened to a song in my truck before I went in, and then got in just like the old days. Get to the gym like me and the Iron Sheik. We'd do a gimmick, smoke a joint, then go in there and hit it. I guess I shouldn't say that.
No. Let's see here. There's a lot of people commenting. John says, "Rob, can you say hello to Sid for me?" Hey, Sid. John says hi.
John, tell John I said hello, Rob.
John, Sid says hi.
Right, yeah. Way to go, John.
Lalo says, "Hey, Sid, keep your hair long like 1993. And do you like tofu?"
I do. I have. You talking about my hair, dude? No, it is. I've let it go, man. I haven't cut it since the pandemic. So I'm not planning on cutting it right now.
No, there's no need, right?
Right.
Well, we've got a couple guests on tonight. There's some of the contestants from the challenge that we're going to do. We
Right.
have Andy, and Andy was supposed to be on before, but his mom had that emergency, so he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Mom sends her prayers, by the way, and thanks for
Oh.
the prayers and everything.
Sure, Andy.
I'm glad you're
And
better.
granted, she still calls you, Sam instead of Sid, but we'll let it slide.
It's close.
That's okay. It's close.
Most definitely.
We have Tom coming back.
Hello.
How are you tonight, Tom?
Hey, Tom.
I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
And last but not least, we have Lori.
Hey guys, thank y'all for having me again.
No,
Yes.
guys, thanks for joining Sid's challenge.
Cool.
Okay, we'll take that as a yes.
Yes, thank you.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So we
Awkward
officially
moment.
Yep.
Starstruck.
That's fixing. They really think they're on
Oh my God,
TV.
it's Sid.
Guys, you own your own laptop. You're really not live on WWE tonight. Wow.
Oh, look, Tom's got a fan. Pam says, Tom.
Stalker. She's a stalker.
A stalker Tom's got a stalker.
And Jeremy says, hello, Lori, Tom, and Andy. How are you all doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good, thanks.
Yes. Everybody's behind this. And I think when we had Lori on and we were talking to Nathan and Andrew, that we talked about accountability. And I think with the group and with us, we have that now, even without the challenge starting, everybody knows what we're up to.
No, I
Yes.
think that's what we're going to see. Lori looked into it, and I've looked into a couple other things too. How all these, diet things, that's what it is. They're trying to make you accountable some way. This new noon thing and Weight Watchers, you just text these people and stuff like that. I think there still be a fall off to those kind of things. I think if we can interact like this, and this is right now with the pandemic, sort of presented it to me and Rob to be able to do this and help a few people by helping a few people. And we'll show those other people later.
Well, here's something else too. Samantha said, Tom makes me think of Tommy Vexed. Not gonna lie.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right?
I know, Samantha. It's a good thing.
Let me see here. JD Varnell says, what are Rob, Andy, Tom, Lori, and Sid's picks for the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches tonight? Thank you all. God bless us.
I couldn't tell you anyone in the Royal Rumble.
I think I'm either going to say Edge or Daniel Bryan.
Is Edge back to wrestling?
Yeah, Edge is back as of last year. He was in a feud with Randy Orton and then tore his tricep. So he announced Monday he will be in the Rumble.
Wow.
His tricep is so skinny, no one would ever have known that.
He did a move with the Orton, then he just finished the 25-minute match after. So, and I think if there's surprises in the Women's Rumble, if we end up seeing Becky Lynch back, I think she'll win.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a big push before, so yeah, she's back. She's going to win.
Plus, she never lost the title. She had to give it up because she was pregnant.
Wow.
God bless you.
There's Andrew. Andrew, I'm on, guys. If you want, Andrew, in your email is the link. Click on the link and come on, join us. Yeah, I thought he wasn't because of the time difference, but no, that's good. So the one person we didn't get was Andy to look for kind of goals. What is your main goal to get out of the challenge?
Well, Rob, I actually sent you a picture of what I looked like before I picked up the extra weight. I was weighing about 195. I was in the best shape of my life. I look better in that picture than I did when I was in high school, which I was in powerlifting, for goodness sake. So, if I can get back down to 195 and actually, like I said, and Sid even said, oh, get out of here and then sign back up. If I can just get to brushing my teeth without my belly shaking, I'm good. So about 195 is my goal.
What are you right now, Andy?
About 235.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, granted, right now I'm at a job where all I do is sit on my butt selling cell phones all day and not really much, heavy lifting to do around there.
Well, that's what it is right there. That's why we all gain weight when that happens. And I think with this pandemic, a lot of people are gaining weight and having, a lot of physical problems as well. But no, what you do, Andy, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning named Hamilton. He's a preacher and he's a dietitian. He's actually he started something like this a couple of years ago around here, but it was in person, and then he's doing it online. And we were talking about how he was doing his. But he says the same thing like I says, make this a lifestyle, shoot your goals, make your first goals obtainable, like make it 5 pounds. That way you go, wow, I won. Instead like it's so far out there. And then Lois thinks to tell a story about she had a couple cheat days each week, how it did or not affect her. But talking to Hamilton today too, and I agree with this, is when we do cheat, let's don't think cheat. Just say we ate something, and that's it. It's not bad or that. We ate something that was upped our calories, and that's the way it really did. But if you can, like Lloyd said a couple of weeks ago or the other day about noon, if you think of that, then think of something you could do to get rid of that, either that day, the next day, or something. You walk an extra 30 minutes or whatever. As long as you're conscious about that. Don't think of it cheating, because this isn't something people should do for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 3 months. They should do it for the rest of their lives. And then again, it's not a cheat day. And then if you go on vacation, you got a cheat weekend, or something like that. But then rein it back in as you come in. So set your goals at something obtainable, and then back your head, think of that real far goal that you really would obtain. Like, again, 185 or whatever your goal is.
Sounds like a good plan.
We have a comment from Pam. Tom is killing me with his healthy eating and tortures me with workouts. Sid, can you please power bomb him?
Yep. Pam, if I only had the chance.
I would take you up on that.
Hell, I'll take you up on it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I could do it safely because as you know, I'm an independent worker, so I'd be able to take it and not kill myself.
Well, no. Power bomb.
I would still take it. That and the choke slam, I don't care.
We have this guy, Jeffrey Arthur, says we need to blast arms. Did you watch Goldfinger? I am James Tom.
He sent me a Goldfinger CD, and I have not watched it. He's been bugging me. Have you watched that? I went, no, I haven't.
It's funny. You should watch it.
If I need your advice, I'll ask you. Okay? No, I'm just kidding. No,
I love Internet Sid.
He called me last night.
Internet Sid.
He calls me last night and says, "Hey Sid, I was looking at you. I thought he was watching me on the show. He goes, I think you need to work on your biceps a little bit." I goes, "Really, Jeff? What shot are you talking about? What week, or did you see my biceps on the show?" He goes, "No, it's back at Royal Rumble."
Like 30 years ago.
Okay.
Oh man. This is the guy who's in love with Kayla cleavage and all that, but super nice guy, man.
Well, actually, that leads into a question from Sean. Off topic, but what's Sid's greatest Royal Rumble memory? Hello, Sid and team, from Sean.
I really don't remember Royal Rumbles, everyone.
You didn't do very many, did you? I remember 92 because that's like the most iconic Royal Rumble.
Right. That's the only one I really remember, I guess. I didn't. When I was in my first WrestleMania, 2 years later, someone asked me about it, and I went, "Was that WrestleMania?" I didn't. I don't take it that serious. I only look at the event, taking the event serious and every day serious. But I didn't remember what the name of the pay-per-views were. Didn't remember who I worked with, and didn't care. And that's honest God's truth.
I think you were in 92, and then the one in the Alamo Dome was shot.
Tom will take your word. Shut up.
And I remember.
Now, calm down, Internet Sid. Calm down.
There he is.
He's getting to know me by now, so he can do it.
When we first started doing the podcast, we started talking about that, and you remember buildings more than you remember events. Because you asked me about a certain event, or I asked you about a certain event, and you said, "Oh, was that?"
No, I do remember some of them, but then I just don't. Guys, this is the way I've lived my whole life. I do something that day, and I don't care about it the next day. I've accomplished it. I'm moving on. And wrestling too isn't real; it's fake. So I can't. I remember all the softball home runs I hit, because that was real. That was real. I did that on my own. Now the wrestling part, I did. I showed up. I did all the work to get there. But I'm not going to remember Jack and Joe and Bob and Sue. I don't have time for that. And I'm not being a jerk. That's just being honest. I'm not going. I don't remember most people's birthdays, or stuff like that. So I'm not going to remember who I worked with and what the name of the event is. That's crazy.
No, yeah, birthdays.
I get it.
Here's a good question from Lalo. I have a question. When you faced El Gigante, did you have a communication problem due to the language? Because he was from Argentina.
No, we talked about that match was real quick. It was set up to get over. That was my leaving match to go to the WWF. So I don't remember it being a struggle. I mean, the match was a struggle. He's a struggle, or was a struggle, but
good.
I can't remember him not remembering standing there and look stupid.
Okay, now you said Lori had a story to tell us. What?
Oh yeah, about her day, her couple of weeks of dieting, and she was talking. I told her one day, I said, if you're going to die, you've got somewhere to go with your mother or something like that. Don't go there and have water and lettuce. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. Don't kill yourself. And tell everybody what you did, Lori.
Well, that's exactly what I've done. I started working on this, 2 weeks ago. And when we first started talking about this and everything, and I started with counting the calories, that was the big thing that I started doing, and keeping up with my food and writing down everything I ate. But every week for the past 2 weeks, there's been a day, not an entire day, but part of a day where I've had, well, like we said, we don't want to call it a cheat meal, but I went off plan. I took a detour. And one time it was pizza, and one time it was like Zaxby's chicken the next week or whatever. But I was still able, the big takeaway from all that was I was still able to average, I was losing about an average of 3.5 pounds, a little more a week. And that was really trying to stick to my plan. I've still got a lot of improvement to make, but still, stick to my plan. But even it just showed me that even having those off meals or whatever, I still saw success. And at this point in 2 weeks, I've lost 7.5 pounds.
Wow.
So I'm really, I was thrilled with it. And that was just counting those calories, changing some things, keeping up with my food, writing it down, keeping up with everything. But I was still, like Sid's talking, I was still living too, and if something came up and I was able, and I didn't eat, according to plan, it was okay because it didn't ruin my success, my progress.
Well, internet says she's probably lying, right? No, I'm just kidding. So what she's doing,
I've got pictures.
I know
Internet
she's
said take a lap.
That's a good thing. Have pictures. That's
I have pictures on the scale.
But this is what she's getting to now. She's told me what she's eating sometimes, and all she's really doing is counting calories. In her first few days, I think of last week, she was texting in like she was at I'm just going to guess 22. They got down by this past week, like 19 and around 18, upper 18s, and so that's what happens. We can, she's not eating steamed vegetables all the time and stuff like that. She's living pretty normal. She's just watching her calories. That's what it really comes down to, is being conscious of your calories and then, eat things in moderation. And one thing she's doing that we'll talk about too, about diet, everyone, is what we do is, and she sounds like when she counts her calories, she's really getting down to the spoon, to the really small measurements of it. So, and what happens is, and I do the same thing, even like watching my meal tonight. If you notice, one thing wasn't there tonight was any kind of pea. That took around 50 calories away from that meal. All I got is vegetables, one rice, and a white meat, right? So now I'm pulling back as well. So so that's what we do. We'll pull back our measurements a little bit. Our body adjusts to those less calories, and we'll be able to, survive with energy without that.
One thing I would comment too, and is watch when you eat. Like, make sure you're not hungry, because portion size is a big thing. And as you notice, I disregarded portion size.
Well, you're just starting, Rob.
So,
like Sid said weeks ago. Like Sid said weeks ago, take one thing out of your diet and then start to progress.
Right.
Don't
right.
engage like that, because you'll fall off.
Well, you're going to get burned out. Why get there, right? So just take your time, and then you don't notice the big change.
Mm-hmm.
Rob. Does anyone know Les Stroud? He's the Survivor man. That's like Rob That's like his twin brother. I saw an episode today of him, or yesterday. He was up somewhere in Seattle, Washington, getting cattail roots and eating them. And it was just like Rob. He's walking up this mountain, get a little exercise. He goes, yeah, even when in the woods, I find time to exercise. He just drops down and do like weird motions with his legs, like Rob does when he's walking around Tim Hortons Donuts up there.
He wants those donuts.
I know,
Or
right?
that
He
one
wants
donut because he's diabetic and he want the one donut.
He loves donuts.
I actually
I love
haven't had a
oatmeal cream pies. I can't get mad at him.
I wish I've had donuts. I wish. I haven't left my basement. But yeah, Les Stroud, and I didn't realize that. He's from Canada, and he does a show called Survivor Man. And now I've heard of that show all over the place, but I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, he's got it's one on PBS. Is something about him eating wild stuff out, foraging. He's real serious about it, like Rob is.
Well, he's also got another show about Bigfoot, so
Yeah, I like him. I like Bigfoot.
it is good though. Now, for this challenge, we've kind of talked about what we're going to do is weekly. We're going to kind of touch base with everybody and just see what's going on. And I think, like we mentioned at the beginning, the best way is everybody can send in their information at the beginning of Sunday. That way, for this episode, this podcast, now we're good to go and start talking. Does that that sounds good with everybody?
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
And then too, like I said last week, if anybody got any like ideas or wanting anything they're wondering about diet or working out, how you get past these sticking points, or how you make little micro changes, stuff like that. When you get to that point, let me know and I'll try to help you guys do that too.
I'm really liking this, Samantha. Who don't love donuts, right? Exactly.
That's my friend. That's my Samantha right there.
There you go.
I'm like Edge. Once a week, I will, usually on a Sunday, I will allow myself to have not a cheat day, but a cheat meal. And then I'll go back to my diet. Because if you have that cheat meal, you replace your biggest meal and you go back on it. It's like nothing happened, but you're still rewarding yourself. So I'll have like a donut.
Wow, didn't Lori just say that, Tom?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Are you trying to steal her thunder on
No.
Vicious Circle? I'm gonna point you out, dude. Gimmick stealer.
I have a question for you,
Wow,
Sid.
can you come up with your own stuff, dude?
I have a question for you, Sid.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
When you hit a plateau, is it best to do giant sets as opposed to supersets?
Now, what exercise are you trying to get past the sticking point on? Or what body part?
Shoulders.
I know. What's the exercise?
Side lateral raises.
That's a finishing exercise. So this is the thing is, Tom, finishes exercises are just that. You don't get wound up about them.
Okay.
They're just for that. So, but if you wanted to say extend the finishing exercise, shoulder raise, it would be this. You would take off really slow.
Yep.
Come to the top and hold it, okay, and then resist it down. And I don't know, you have to sort of, when you do something correct like this, you'll have to adjust the weight accordingly, okay, Tom? And so also it's better to have, the farther out your arms could be, the more you're making the weight work against you, correct?
Yes.
All right, so the farther arms your arms could go, the better it is too. So if you go straight, you're probably gonna have to lighten up a little bit. You've probably been cheating this whole time. I know you. So again, you go up, and then you resist it down, right? And then you bring it up slowly. And while we're bringing it up slowly for a couple of reasons. One is this: the motion we're doing sends a message to the brain and back to the muscles. The slowest reaction our body has, and they say it's slower than the healing process. Okay, so if we do that right there, never have a chance to react.
Okay.
So one, we're getting the attention of those side delta at this point, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm coming down, resisting it down.
Okay.
But now I get to this point, I can't get it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to extend this right here. I'm going to cheat it up, and then I'm going to resist it down. Okay, I'm going to cheat it up, and I'm going to resist it down. And that's going to be to a point. If you got your weight adjusted correctly, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. And then you just cheat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You've got, all right, what's happened there, in my view, you've got that muscle's attention, okay? And then when we do the last part of it, now blood and oxygen is the healer, so we're rushing it to there. So we're healing that muscle as we're working it.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, Sid.
Sure, man.
Steve, you've got a question. I'm curious of Sid's take on intermittent fasting. I try to do it at 14 to 16 hours and feel oddly really good when I do, but I recently found out blood sugar is better if you eat before you have coffee. And some days I can't forgo coffee. That's my trick to getting through the fasting.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that's one thing. I mean, honestly, the only thing I know about fasting, I hear they do it in church sometimes. And I will last about 15 minutes from cussing, smoking, and all that, so it doesn't work for me. No, I don't know honestly about fasting. What the upsides and downsides? That's something I'm not got any information on. I do know it's supposed to be something help cleanse you out a little bit. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I'm sorry.
I know the only downside to fasting is you're not eating, and that's
Right.
what I like. So
Well, no, it's got to be somewhat good for you not to eat all the time. I just don't know if it's good to go long periods of time. I just don't know what that does to the body.
my understanding is it starts, your body starts to feed off of yourself.
Hmm.
It doesn't have the food,
Yeah.
but I don't
Right.
know if that's good or bad.
Yeah. Well, that's not. I mean, it
No,
can't be.
so that can't be good for anybody.
Okay, I did see a question and it's kind of flew by. I'm going to try and find it real quick while I talk. There we go. Jason asks, what's the best exercise for lower chest development?
Okay, this is sort of the deal on this. This is my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people are going to jump up and disagree with me. There is really no such thing as a lower chest, because there's no tie-in at your lower chest. Your tie-ins, your chest are right here in the middle, and they're over here. And they call this your bicep in a weird way. Up under here, right here, your shoulder, you can actually feel it. So that's where your tie-ins, and it goes here and it spans across. And chest is a really small muscle group. It's like biceps and triceps. There's not a lot of muscle there. What was the question, Rob?
What's
So for lower chest, this is the thing is, don't go these big angles of big steep declines. It's not. You think about this, everyone. If I'm doing a cheating, I'm sorry, I just told the answer. If I'm doing a decline bench press, really what I'm doing is a cheating bench press, because it would be as if my butt's off the ground or off the bench, right? Tom,
Yep, I'm listening.
is that right?
Yep.
So a decline press is what? Is it just like a cheating bench press, right?
Yeah.
Because your butt's up in there, right?
And that's why some people don't like it, because you're cheating. But if you down, you lift your butt up.
Tom, I'm going to forget what I'm talking about. Be quiet for a minute. No, I'm kidding. No, what happens is this. So, meaning there is no such thing as a bottom chest, okay?
Yeah.
So, if you do want to do an angle, make it really small angles. And one of the things you could do is like use just a regular bench and put a couple 10-pound plates, just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To where it's just a little bit of an angle. And say, do some flies. And when you get down and you come to the top, just turn those pinkies in just a little bit. And that right there will really hit that bottom, what people think is the lower chest.
Like you said, if you do a chest, it will bring it all together. Dude, like you said, there's no really workout for the lower chest. It's just overall chest development.
Well,
Once
there
you
is.
build-
Let me give everybody an idea while we're talking about chest and smart and Tom it for a little bit. So this is, no, I'm really being serious. So if our tie-ins are a chest right here at the bottom of my chest, and it's coming to the top right here, right? I just said it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything we do in form, everyone, should be like this. So if I'm doing a dumbbell or a flat bench bar, I want to come to that bar about right there. So when I go pushing up, I'm going to push back to my eyes. You see how now that just got all my chest involved.
Yes.
Now, if we just do that right there, we're doing partial. But if I'm doing that, you could if you could do it at home, if you do chest, or the guy who's asking the question, just take your hands and just move them like that right there, and you'll feel your chest go. You'll feel it contract. What people really need to do sometimes, pick up an encyclopedia and look at the anatomy. Maybe I do it sometimes when I'm doing abs, just to refresh my mind about the anatomy, and then we'll see what's going on there. But that's something I really emphasize to everyone, is perfect form, and that's something I work on always, and people will tell you that. But I mean, if you're doing good form, you don't have to worry about the weight outside. The weight will come back up pretty much to what you were doing when you were cheating, and that's because the body's just like that. So work on your form, work the chest here, make the motions fluid like that. If you're doing something that's conformed or confined, like a bench press, or that you're not doing dumbbells. If I'm doing dumbbells, I'm starting here and then I'm squeezing to the top. When I do that, I could bust a grape with that right there, part of my chest, That's what you want to feel when you get to the top.
That would also work for like the dumbbell overhead chest too, wouldn't it?
No.
If you lay on the bench and you grab the dumbbell and you bring it to your chest, that's what I was showed.
No, well, it doesn't, Tom. What that does right there is probably the best, and I do chest and back on the same days. And I can't do those right now because it's hard. It's just hard on my shoulders. But what that does, it's a pullover, and it's a good exercise to be used with chest or back.
Okay.
And what it does, it sort of, when you're doing that back motion like that, it's taking the chest and stretching it, okay?
Yeah.
A little bit in a different direction. And working out is all about angles. But the main thing is doing is this. It's really hard, and we can't do very much of it, but we can build the cartilage between our rib cage. So I'm doing it right there, and I'm breathing. What we're hoping will end up was this. We'll stand up a little bit better, and that's what pullovers are designed to do.
Thank you.
Excellent. Andy, we've not touched on you. Is there any questions that you wanted to get to about this?
None come to mind. I did want to say something, if that's all right. Nothing like bad or anything like that, but I will say this, get a little bit personal, not like the full story or anything, but I'll say in 2018, without going into great detail, life kicked me in the teeth. I went from weighing 260 pounds to 170 because life sucked. And it wasn't by choice. I was, bouncing around from place to place to place to place to place to place. Was lucky if I could get a meal. I don't recommend losing weight that way. But I will say, if I can get myself on track, eating healthy, getting myself, motivated of a morning, wake up, actually do some moving around instead of sit there with one eye open going, all right, I got to go to work. There we are.
Right. Well, Andy, how old are you, buddy?
I'm going to be 35 on February 21st.
Well, we all go through this, and where are you from?
I'm from Jeff City, Missouri. I'm originally from a town called Eldon, where, as I've talked about in the past, I actually met Harley Race and did a 2-day training seminar with him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, now, so you're saying, sounds like you've had a really tough time. That's something too, Andy. I like to talk about people about as well, is that, you can diet and eat well pretty reasonably, Like I think a couple weeks ago, I showed that plate of food. I think it was give or take $1, 90 cents or $1.20, something like that, So, but it can be expensive too, because when we go to stores and get food, we end up getting things we don't need, and most of the time, diet food is pretty expensive, other than chicken. That's why I eat a lot of, So, but no, if Andy, if you need if you want to talk and maybe get down, if you need a little extra help or get your diet set or something like that, get in touch with you, give him his number, and I'll try to get back with you and help you maybe get a few things tuned in a little bit.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
All right.
Excellent. Cece's got a question. Does anyone have any tips? What are the best types of exercises for either dumbbell or resistance bands to work the traps and pecs, just to loosen them up from chronic computer work?
What I would start off with what she's saying there with the chronic computer work. Honestly, Cece, I think it's good to do what you're talking about, some of those bands and stuff, but just where you're sitting right there, say, maybe when you're feeling like your neck's hurting for a second, just take a break and just, relax for a second. And then, bring your hand up and just slowly, if you can't go far, don't do it, if it's uncomfortable. And then slowly when you get a stretch and just slowly start stretching a little bit. Then once you stretch, maybe do some of those bands. But the thing about bands and any type of weightlifting, what you're going to actually do, CC, you're going to make all those muscles actually more tense and stuff like that. It's better. What you sounds like you need is something how to make all your muscles relax. And thing about stretching, I do a little before and after my workouts when I have the time, It's going to elongate your muscles, and we're not going to walk around like this. We're not going to be like this from doing this all day. We'll be able to, our shoulders relax, stuff like this. And I've told everyone this. I've got a few people watching it. Met a man in the doctor's office yesterday. There's a show on PBS called Classical Stretch, and the lady's called Miranda Smith. And I'm not going to go into a long speech, but I've been doing a few things that she does. And some are I know are advanced, because she does a stretch exercise that actually for athletes that are able to do what I call high leg carryovers. And that's even hard for me to do, especially right now at my age. But she has a few of these things that teach you how to, be able to do those type of motions, and she never leaves one spot. So CC, try finding that show. It's on PBS. It's called Classical Stretch, and the lady's name Miranda Smith. And that sounds stupid to a lot of people, but it's really helpful.
I'll let you know. My daughter went through. She's now a licensed chiropractor for kinesiology, and being diabetic, I get frozen shoulder every once in a while, where you can't extend your arms like you should be able to.
Right.
And she showed me the simplest of techniques that helps me all the time. And do you know what a hockey ball is?
Yeah.
We have them in Canada everywhere. Like you can't turn a corner without something. They're hard plastic balls. You just take that, you put it on a wall, push it against the muscle group, and you roll it. And it does a deep massage in that muscle group. And I do that like all over my chest and back just with the wall. And it helps me immensely.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. There's something else, CC. You can
That works.
drive all the way on to Ontario and get you a hockey ball.
Right?
I hope you're not in Florida, and then go back home and just massage the crap out of your head for driving to Ontario and back.
Exactly. Gernot here says, "Hey Rob, how are you? Best regards from Austria. Hello to Sid too."
Wow.
3 people in my fan club. I like this.
Wow. And Sid's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But they're talking about favorite memories down the side from Royal Rumble too. But Gernot said, I also like the Royal Rumble 93. Was funny because Randy Savage couldn't eliminate Yokozuna alone. I don't think anybody could.
No.
Sid could.
Yeah, that'd be it.
No, he was before he was Yokozuna, and I was Lord Humongous. He was the
Yeah.
Konana, whatever, Samoan warrior. We used to ride together. The true story, one time we were in like a Piggly Wiggly in Montgomery, getting some stuff like 2 a.m, coming in from a show to get something to eat. And we get back to the car. Some guy leaves a note on the car asking if we were lonely or something like that. I'm thinking, is this guy crazy? Approaching 2 guys at 2 a.m, Piggly Wiggly, a Samoan warrior and Lord Humongous. Are you kidding?
Sounds like a bad dating commercial. You don't have to be lonely.
Yeah. It sounds a bad, yeah.
Dean asks, Sid, apart from yourself, who was the strongest guy in the locker room in both companies back in the day?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably Doug Furness was, because he was the world's strongest man at one time, and then Bill Kazmaier. Those are probably the 2 strongest guys.
There we go. And CC says, all right, thanks, Rob. I do that with a racquetball. That's cool. And yes, it would be a long drive. What, CC, whereabouts are you located? Because, Ontario's not that far from certain places.
You can use an Indian rubber ball too, or something like that. That's harder. You can just put there and.
That's, as long as it's got a little bit of resistance, but it's solid, you're good.
Now, Rob, are you sure Tom's actually telling the truth tonight once?
Nope.
I'm always telling the truth. What the? Internet
those
Sid,
pullovers really work your lower chest. No,
that's what I was told. If you lay on a bench and do pullovers, it helps. That's what I was told.
He's going to go to the gym tomorrow and say, I guess y'all didn't see the podcast. I already told Sid off last night. Told him how to do lower chest.
I can't
I
go
gave
to the
a pullover or 2 across his head. Online, he started crying.
Oh, here we go. CC's in Delaware right now.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit. All right.
CC must be Joe Biden.
Delaware.
All
that's
right.
That's the name. That's her name. CC is Biden. I like that. We all remember, though. Where is it? I got to find the picture from Dr. Stevel. Last time you met Biden. Yep.
Oh, God.
I forgot we had that.
We'll get kicked off of Facebook for that.
Hey,
Rob, Biden was making out with my hair.
He's jealous.
No shit, man. I'm jealous of my hair too.
Jeremy asks, would eating fruit help you stay healthy?
Yes, it does, Jeremy. Think about fruit. I've said this before. Fruit's a really good food source, but it's high in sugars. Some of them aren't as high in sugars as other. But if we eat fruit like in between meals, on an empty stomach, nothing before fruit, then it goes like an apple, for instance. It takes about as many calories to digest an apple that are in it because it's mostly fiber. Some fruits like watermelon and cantaloupe, grapes are higher in sugars, but again, if eating first or by themselves, they'll go through your system pretty quick. The when fruits can be bad for you is when you eat on top of solid food. I'll give you an example. If anyone ever had cantaloupe after eating a meal, they'll burp that cantaloupe the rest of the night, and that what that's saying is that I'm still here, and the body's pulling the simple sugars we don't want. Read that in a book called The Target Zone one time.
Nice. Jeremy said Southern California here, so we got them from everywhere. But then CC came out. LOL. He's a distant neighbor.
There you go.
Let me see here. John asks, Sid, did you ever or were you ever considered for a role in NWO?
NWO. No.
Oh. No.
I would have never. No, I wouldn't have done it. They know that. I didn't like to be with groups of people. I like to be by myself. They asked me to be with Savage and that group too. When I first came in, I said, "Man, I don't mind the introduction part, but I don't want a bunch of people with me." Everybody knew that.
Actually, yeah. If you look back at your career, when you were in a group, it was brief.
It's brief.
Interesting.
What was the reason for it? I don't need a group of people. And only when you don't have anything to offer. If you can't draw by yourself, that's when you need a group of people. And I didn't need that.
Yeah, or if the gimmick for the group helped your character, but it wouldn't help your character.
No.
Interesting. Well, guys, I appreciate you all being on the show tonight, and we're going to get ready to start tomorrow morning. 12 a.m. is when it officially starts. Why not, right?
Right.
Why waste a day, right?
Exactly. So we'll be getting back in touch with you guys and seeing where things stand, and we'll see how this progresses.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being part of the challenge. And anyone needs a little extra help, if it's not I know it's hard for us to get in touch with some of the people overseas, but if we can help you here, get in touch with you, get you through a sticking point, or get you through a new goal, or anything like that. If there's any way I can help y'all, let me know, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Sid. Thank you, Rob.
And I mean that really. That's not internet Sid. That's the real Sid. So, you can get in touch with me. Rob will help you get in touch with me, and if anything I can do to help you get past your goals to a goal, that's the sticking point, I'll be willing to do that.
Hey, Rob, did you end up getting those photos I sent you of my accident compared to afterwards?
Yeah, I've got them all saved in the computer.
Did you show Sid that?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's a good, big transformation.
Good. That's what we're hoping to see at the end of this, some transformations.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be visual, everyone. The two can be, you feel better.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be 100 pounds lost. That's not what this is about. I'm not. If anybody wants suggestions about what to eat, I'm willing to do that. But I'm not telling anyone, because I don't want this to be a pushy deal. I want people to do it at their own speed, not my speed, because not everyone should do things at my speed because it's not fun. But at your own speed, and if I can help you speed up or make you comfortable at the speed you're going, that's what I'd like to be able to help you on.
Well, thank you so much, Sid.
Oh, I thank you guys too.
Thank you.
Even Cece says, I'm excited for you all to make good progress.
Thank you, Cece.
And Pam.
All right. Thanks, Cece. Thank you, Pam.
Pam says, good luck, everyone except Tom, who's mean to her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I may have added that last little bit.
She's in the other room, too. She's shy. So she says that when I'm not looking. She'd make a good heel.
Yes, she would.
Take some tips from Sid.
All right, question, Sid, if you don't mind me asking.
Sure, Andy.
So, being a wrestling fan for many years, aside from the fact that it only took me like 3 years ago, I found out you were actually a horseman. What do you think I'd be good as, a heel or a face? Just curious.
Just seeing you, what little I've seen you, I think a heel.
I think we can do that, man. Hey, maybe we can have an Internet Sid versus Internet Andy match.
There you go.
Now I'm interested. Now
we got something to look forward to.
And Sid just wants to kick me off podcast. That's it.
Who are you?
Exactly.
Jeremy says, good luck to all.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, guys, we will be in touch.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good Sunday.
Thank y'all.
All the best to Lori and Andy and Sid and Rob. So you guys got this. Consistency is key.
Right.
There you go, Tom. Way to go. That's it. That's absolutely.
All right,
Consistency is
guys.
key.
Talk
All
to
right.
you very soon.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Agreed.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Hit the wrong button.
Hold a second. I'm going to use the restroom. Rob, keep everybody entertained for just 1 second.
In that case, I'm bringing Lori back on.
Hey.
I'm not doing this by myself. How you doing, Lori?
Long time no see, huh?
Right? It's been really cool talking to you because you started, like you said, a couple weeks ago.
I did a little over 2 weeks ago. And like I said last week, and I guess I'm kind of repeating myself, but I started with just counting the calories, keeping it simple, counting the calories and writing down what I ate. And that opened my eyes to a lot of bad habits. And then I started eating breakfast before my morning walk instead of after, which I knew better, but I had still gotten in a bad habit on that. And then extended my 30-minute walk, trying to do a little bit longer, just little stuff. I mean, I told Sid, I don't feel like I'm really putting myself out too much. It's just the small changes are really, you start to see them add up over time.
Exactly. It's the biggest thing, like Sid and like Lori just said, the biggest thing you see when you start this is the things that you probably shouldn't do.
Right.
Yes. Well, like I said, when I started writing down my food and keeping kind of a food journal, it became really clear really fast that I had to make some changes if I was going to see some results, and I'm still working on that. But it just, the little things do add up.
I got to bring Tom on real quick because this is interesting. He's still in the room and he wanted me to know. So he's typing in the private chat here. But when you see his camera, do me a favor, pretend you're typing something. This is all I could see is this giant finger poking at the camera.
Well, thanks, Rob.
I had to bring you on for that. That's so fun. All righty, guys. Thank you so much again.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you very soon.
Bye.
There we go.
Yeah, man. I had to go back and do some heroin. Tom's driving me to the edge, man. Hey, Rob, I know this is nice to have people on the show, but keep Tom off. He's driving me to heroin, suicide. Well, I'm glad the show is over.
Right?
What? It's still going on?
Sadly,
I'm sorry. No, I love Tom, man. Tom's a good guy, dude. He just got an oversized head. No, I'm kidding. Oh, not just kidding. No, Tom is a really nice guy. Everybody's so nice to do this. Real quick, I want to say I got my first little cash donation from Maggie. She sent it, I guess, this past week. I forget what day I got it out of the mail. Let me tell you what Maggie's done, everyone. We also, other than the Pop Top deal, our church helps an orphanage in Haiti. And you can look it up on West Tennessee Haiti Partnership.org. Now, right now, we're not taking donations for that because we're not able to go over, and even children's vitamins and stuff like that, if they expire, when they get there, they'll take them. They'll sell them in the black market. That sounds crazy, but it happens. So, but she sent one time, I want to say up to 200, 250 little packages. All had a toothbrush, toothpaste, a comb, etc. Other things. And I can't remember everything. And then she sent a bunch of children's vitamins and stuff like that. And then she's also just sent a $50 money order the other day. Maggie, I'd like to say thank you for that. And thanks for all the stuff you've done in the past as well. So this is what this is about, everyone. Rob, you got a few of these pictures real quick?
Yeah, real quick. We've had 4 people send in donations too.
Okay.
So we have that to go forward as well. Just before you get into this, Sid, if you don't mind, I'm going to bring Lori back in for a quick question.
Sure.
Because Cece had a question. Lori, have you noticed any difference weight-wise just with the calorie counting? She says, I tried that for a month without any notice of difference, which was frustrating.
Well, like I said, I really did 3 changes to begin with. I did the calorie counting. I added on to my 30-minute walk, just a few 10, 15 minutes at the end of it. And then I made sure I ate breakfast, got up earlier in the morning to eat breakfast before I went on the walk. So those three things, and like I've said, none of those, were that hard to do. I just had to be mindful and decide to make a change. But I think, like Sid was talking, my goal was to get my calories below 2,000. And I think when I first started counting them, I was the first day just, counting them, I didn't know I was at 2,500. And so I've tried to stay around 1,800, 1,900, and I want to improve upon that. But just in the first 2 weeks, trying to break the 2,000 mark and get below 2,000, that seemed to have helped, along with making sure I eat breakfast and trying to add a little more to my walk.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for coming back on. I'm sorry to jump on you with that, Sid, but those questions.
No, that's good. Good.
Yeah, when she said she was frustrated, it's like, okay, let's see
Right.
if we can help her with that.
Sure.
Well, like Sid has said before too, we can take anything that we learn and help others. I would love to be able to pass any little thing. I'm still in the beginning of this, but anything I see that, is working, I would love to pass along to others.
Perfect. Thanks again, Lori.
Well, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And then too, CC, what about this too? She started at 25 and she's got down to this now. We got to figure out what Lori's weight is and what your weight is. You might have not as much weight to lose, CC, and that's why it might be harder. Now, and everybody's metabolism is different too with age, body type, and stuff like this. And Lori's 6 foot tall. She's got a lot of muscle there as well as a little body fat. So she's going to burn body fat a little faster. And then too, this is the beginning of it. Now, you might have dieted before and something like this, but this is, and when we first start to, we should see these results. And it could have been maybe some adjustments you might have needed, like, cut back some salt or get under that 2,000. Because I know this, if you can eat chocolate all day long, if you get under 2,000 calories, you're going to lose weight. Now, if you get closer to 15 and under 15, if you could get to that 1,200, it's going to run off of you, especially with a little exercise and everything else.
Nice. We have a new fan club starting. Lori has a great accent. And Jamie says, I like her accent. So we now have a Lori fan.
Oh, Joe Beck. What does she say? Remind you of what's that guy he's in love with? Oh, Joe. Oh God. Buff Bagwell.
Buff. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean, Joe? Does she look like Buff? Joe would actually hitchhike across America to see Buff Bagwell's autograph signing.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's crazy.
Last week, Nathan sent in that, remember that picture of the IMDb that you were in a movie called Death from Above.
Right.
Now, what he wanted us to look at was the review at the bottom. So I zoomed in on it. And it says, not great, but hot. Who cares about how bad the acting is when there are so many freaking hot guys in it? All through the movie. Now, there is a review for a movie.
Right.
There. Okay, now back to talking about the church.
Yeah, this is what it's all going. That's the front porch, everyone. If you can see it, you can barely see that little black object on the porch. That's someone's sheet or blanket. This was Saturday morning. On Wednesday mornings, we got the door open and we can see it a little bit closer. But that's St. Mary's. It's the oldest church in Memphis. Real quick about St. Mary's, why it's such a poor church. This is the truth. This is not exaggerating. Back when Martin Luther King was in town, it's either, I don't want to say this wrong, it's either when he was protesting for the strike for sanitation workers, I think what it was. I don't think it was when he was shot. But the dean or our bishop, whatever, there at St. Mary's, did the march downtown, which is we're actually sort of in downtown. And when he did that, almost all the members left, and the church has never ever recovered. It's the oldest church in Memphis. It's also the poorest church in Memphis, and for good reasons. That's why you see those things like people out in front of our church sleeping. You just don't see that at other churches. They don't allow it. Also, the church history is this: when Memphis in I forget when it was, the yellow fever epidemic come through Memphis. It all happened right there, pretty much in St. Mary's parking lot, where most of the people died. Actually, the yellow fever was coming from the mosquitoes, which is in a ditch that was located right behind St. Mary's. Unfortunately, because they didn't know that till years to come. They didn't know what that even caused. But what happens is Memphis lost its cityship, and the first black millionaire came around and actually got it back for him. He was the first insurance company owner of a black person. So really cool history there. A lot of people, again, funny story because everybody knows the history, right? So this is something funny. I shouldn't say this. Well, I'll come back to this story. I'll tell everybody. Remind me to tell you a story about the crow. But this is some of the things that we've lost there during the pandemic. Where show me a picture of Drew. You got a picture of Drew in his socks sitting there.
That one right there.
Okay. Now he wears these socks all the time. This is Drew Woodruff. He's the deacon. And over the last 15 years or so, he actually started this ministry for his first wife. And leave that right there for a second, Rob. His first wife passed away. She started this at first. They were just giving away a couple bags, and it's called Pop Tops because they open up a can of whatever it is, and they had that, crackers, a bottle of water, stuff like that. But he looks, if you see those socks, they almost look like the Wicked Witch of the West socks. And he's got some that look just identical. Now, this guy, Drew, everyone, if you want to, I give you a really quick description of him. If you remember the angel in It's a Wonderful Life, his name was Clarence. This is Drew. He's just such a humble, sweet, honest, nice guy. You know, I can't get him to raise his voice. I scared the crap out of him a couple of weeks ago, and he told me never to do that again. But this is a super nice guy. Super nice guy. Okay, well, I can pull that down. But that's what it is. We're trying to do that. Show me. Let me see another picture here. There's the socks.
There's a close.
Maybe one of the people at the front door getting a little food. This guy's name is Clemens. He comes every week. He tries to find a little work once in a while. You see the bag there. Let me show on the table what the bags actually have in it, Rob. All right, you see there's a can of Viennas. I think there's a can of raviolis, a fruit cake, pack of crackers, bottle of water. I think some peanut butter crackers, and that might be now this right here, everyone, is more than we've ever been able to give away. Now, normally this would have cost us about $4, but now we're going to. Drew's a member of the Memphis Food Bank, and this is only costed. This might only cost 50 cents now. So think what you could do every 50 cents you give into this right here. Now, there would probably be a couple other things that some of this money is not enough money to do anything there with right now. But I've got a couple people I think going to pitch in pretty good. But say, for instance, for the pandemic came, we would do the same thing on Saturday mornings, and there were a couple unfortunate people that trying to, had just got off the streets. Hopefully, I'm gonna have an interview one day with one of the guys who were lucky enough to get off the streets. I was talking with him Wednesday. But anyway, there was a couple of people named Yvonne and her boyfriend. I can't remember his name. But they would come on Saturdays, and to help pay the rent, they would work for the 2 hours that we would hand out the meals. Yvonne would count them, and her boyfriend, her husband would, help bringing in out the water, things we needed. And we wouldn't give them much. We'd give them $20 a piece. But that, here they showed up every Saturday and stuff like that. Now with the pandemic, we're not able to have the money. The church does not help Drew do this. Drew does this out of his own pocket. And he's a retired welding supply salesman, so he didn't have any money to begin with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, where was I there?
The food. Yeah.
So again, the food's just 50 cents like that. So that's what we're trying to do, is just get a few people fed.
CC did have a comment. Does your church partner with the local food bank at all?
Well, I just said we do. We are. Drew just in the last, 6 months or so has partnered with the local food bank, and that's what I'm saying. Used to, a dollar didn't go that far. But now, one of our bags, with 2 cans of Viennas was $1 of crackers. So you're talking $2, but a bag like that would have been $4 or $5 with the raviolis. But now with Kroger Food Bank, we're getting that for about 20, 30, 40 cents for that bag.
Daniel Gold here says, if Sid sends me a signed photo, I'll send 20 pounds to donate to the church.
Well, that's what we're doing, everyone. I got some photos right here. I still have Stewart's. We got that. Now, Maggie's going to get something she deserves. Excuse me, everyone. Maggie came here to my home years ago and helped me film a documentary called The Promotion. I'm going to send her that, and I'm going to send her also a trading card. Not that she wants it, but it's just she's qualified for it for her over giving. And she's not asked for any of this. She sent the money and didn't want anything. And I've always told her I was going to send her a copy of that anyway. She's not getting anything she didn't wouldn't already deserve to have.
Didn't she just want a signed picture of Biden or something like that?
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I
exactly. Right. She did put a note with it. They cheated.
thought. But yeah, you sent quite a few pictures.
That is funny about this too. Clarence is such a sweet guy. I've done some videos, but I don't want to show them yet because some of them really aren't coming out. Because when you put a video on these people, and I hate to say it like that, these good people, um, they're really scared. They're shy and they're embarrassed, and they shut down. When I went to do the video, he put his head down and couldn't hardly talk. Now I will say this: these people are really good at judging good foods. Now, if you notice on the table there was a little bag of candy, and those were chocolate kisses. And we'll have those. A couple of weeks ago, we had every other day. I mean, every other week we'll have, the Kit Kats or something like that. And everybody, really good about just taking one or two. Man, they were taking handfuls of these kisses. They love those things. Now we get that also at the food bank too, and I think Drew said they pretty much gave those to him. And sometimes we go there because Drew goes there so often. They do give him a bunch of it for free. So they are helping us out quite a bit.
That's another picture of Drew, isn't it?
And that's inside. That's Martyrs Hall there. That's inside St. Mary's.
Nice. Here's another one.
Now, this lady here, when she knew I was filming her, she's usually pretty big talker, and she's understandably her condition. She's got some type of, she's struggling with some type of mental deal. Her daughter as well. You can't see her daughter there, but they all come there in a little Dodge SUV type thing, barely running. And I'm pretty sure they have housing because they talk about it. But it's again, when you see her like that, she saw her taking a picture. She didn't want her face to be shown. That's the downside. And none of these people are there because they want to be. Everyone, they're there because they have to be. And it's embarrassing for her. But she's good. Anyway, we call them the Louisiana folks. They tell us that they're coming from Louisiana. They've been preaching. Of course they haven't. But they're good folks. They're all good. Now I enjoy seeing them every Saturday and Wednesday when everyone shows up. To me, it's just a good thing. I enjoy being there. It is depressing to see sometimes. I was telling Drew, we did an interview on a radio show with the Bishop Phoebe a couple of weeks ago, and I told him the story about going to the VA hospital, visiting the cancer ward for like 5 days in a row. There was an old timer named Buddy Wayne was there, and he said he didn't have nobody to visit him, so I went there to visit. And you don't even think about it. And then you're up in the cancer ward, and Buddy says, "Sid, would you meet this guy who's dying of cancer?" "Sure, buddy, whatever." So I'm just blah, blah, blah. Well, about that it was the last day because he was in it for 5 days of treatment. As I was walking out, all of a sudden, just for a second, I could see what I'd saw, but I thought I'd missed. It was just every room was full of death. And people in wheelchairs just corrupt over with shit hanging out of them. And man, I couldn't get out the door fast enough. I started vomiting, and I don't know why. So I asked Drew, I said, "Do you ever vomit from all the dread that you see every day?" He says, "No," but he says, "Man, I'm depressed a lot." And that's what happens. Of course, that day there, it was rainy, windy. We were inside. Normally, we're outside up there on the streets, waving people in. But he stands out there and just looks both ways, up and down Poplar, and just that lone look, hoping for that next person to show up, And that's what this is all for, everyone. So everyone is helping, man. We appreciate you very much, and I promise you, this is all going to good things. Now, Rob, what are you wearing?
What am I wearing?
Yeah, I see something. Well, I was going to say,
Sons of Anarchy.
we were going to talk about. I was going to talk to you about this before we got on the show. We just didn't have time. Now, about the T-shirts, I think you need to start wearing one for these people can see this. What you're trying. No, you wear one where people can see it. Do you have any?
No, not yet. We were making sure that there was enough interest, which I think there is.
Right.
So I'm putting the order through.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in a second too. But This is what I think I'd like to do with the T-shirts. This way everyone knows what's going on. Rob, you said the T-shirts are $25.
I think there'll be 20.
20, and that covers postage and everything.
Maybe locally. I did some checking, and it looks like international. It's going to be about $15 postage, but I haven't got definite numbers yet. I'm going to go right to the post office. I haven't been able to because of the lockdown.
So you're talking $20 for the shirt plus postage,
right? Which locally might make it about $25.
Okay. So what I like to do with that $20, Rob, we talked about this first. Really, was just to try to get Ulish money for gas money if you ever make it back here and stuff like that.
The
Maybe
border
we'll take half of it, give it to Rob. We'll take half of it, give it to the Pop Tops thing, and then we'll give the other half to Rob's heroin addiction.
I think that's fair.
Do you think?
That's very
No,
fair.
we get the other. That way, when you ever to come, and this does everyone. This is the truth. Rob comes here once in a while. He used to come all the time for the pandemic, and I've tried to give him money. I was able to get him a room one time. He just doesn't take it. So I know he doesn't have the money to do this either, but it'll go towards his film festival and all the work he does for Cycle Sid Promotions. I mean, Vicious Podcast.
Not a worry. Not a worry. But yeah, Daniel also here said, one second. Where was it? Okay, here it said, Rob, if you can message me after the show, I'll sort the arrangements out to send the money. Cheers. Here is the email for the podcast. info@viciouscirclepod.com. Send an email because that way it's better to set up a chain that way. That way we
Right.
can start chatting to each other. But yeah, there is the shirt in the light and the shirt in the dark because it glows in the dark. That's awesome.
Now, real quick, we'll end the show on this, and we'll talk more about it in the next podcast when we get back to wrestling. But I meant to say something about a couple of things. One about Rob Feinstein, who we brought him on the show, and he said he was going to call me that 2 days later. It's been over 2 weeks. I hadn't heard from him. I did hear from Doug, and Rob real quick too. He never talked to me, guys. And so who was Stuart said, what a nice guy Rob is. Well, Stuart, and I'm not saying you don't know your people. Think about this. So you're going to tell people you're having a show, and you're going to bring a guy in for the show, and you've not talked to him one time. Does that make good sense to do that? I'm going to leave it right there, okay? Then he came on the show and said he was going to call me. He hasn't called. He has called Doug, bugging the crap out of him about trying to postpone doing this. So it's only being held up and not done because of Rob. I'm going to leave that alone right now. The other thing about, and again, we've talked about these guys, these promoters. They're not bad people, okay? They're just trying to make a dollar, but they're only caring about themselves. And I'm going to leave that right there. We know this. Tom tried to stiff me $1,000. The guy I'm supposed to go for in March. Still haven't heard back from him. I guess his name's Jerry. This is why I don't even remember these people's names, everyone. And if you can ask Rob, you can ask anyone to help me do this for it. These people don't get back with you. Right, Rob?
Yeah, I know since you and I have chatted, there's been about 7 or 8 people that have contacted you for ideas, and that's where it ends.
Right. So that's what I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but don't expect me to only say the same thing I tell these people is that, okay, it's a long ways away. We'll see you then. And then if I don't hear back from you till then, don't. Anyway. So another thing I want people to watch out for, if you're on Cameo, if you're talking to me, you're not talking to me. A year or so ago, a guy named Martin, I think he runs this thing, asked me to be a part of it. And he bugged me to death. And finally, my wife got on and did all the bank stuff to do this. But there was one glitch. I had to do a video to open the thing up. But I wanted to ask him a few business questions. One was being, how do we know where the money's going? How do we know where it's being divided and it's being sent in the right places? And after I asked that question, he's not responded one time to anything, any of my emails for all this time. I think Rob has tried, Larry has tried, and they're not calling back. So if you're contacting Cameo, because I got a message from today talking about Valentine's. So if you're talking to Cameo and think you're talking to me, you're not. And if you need something like that, like a birthday, get in touch with Rob, and we'll probably give a better setup where you can actually sit here and have to talk to someone. It won't be over a stupid message like that.
100%. Yeah.
Right. So if you want to do something like that, these guys, y'all are doing it for $25 and they're sending it to a charity, so you might be able to do something cool like that, be a part of something cool as well, and get what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. Daniel asked real quick, definitely want the shirt, but will you send to the UK? Yeah, like I said, it's just shipping. We'll figure out what shipping is and let you know. But yeah, send an email to info@viciouscirclepod.com.
Right.
All right. Any last words?
Man, I think the show went really good. It seems like everyone's really fired up about getting into this. And again, everyone, you don't have to start today. If you want to start this tomorrow, the next week, or the week after that, we'll be glad to put your name into the hat. Like, Maggie's not in the contest. She just sent $50 in to help out on the deal. You could do that as well. You don't have to do the contest. And if you can do the contest and not care, I'm not telling anybody what to eat unless you ask me to. Everybody else is counting their own calories, eating what they want to eat. And what the whole deal is, we're all being accountable to each other. And that'll help everyone reach their goal. So that's what we're trying to do, is just see if we can kickstart one person out there to give them a better year this year. Because we definitely had a really bad year last year.
It's only going to get better now.
Right.
All right. In that case, Sid, thanks so much for the show. Until Sunday. Oh, no, wait. Until Thursday.
Right. Until Thursday. If God's willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be here Thursday, everyone, back at the Vicious Circle.
You've been listening to the Vicious Circle podcast. Your host, Sid Udi. Co-host, Rob Bellamy. Additional research by Pete Marsh. The Vicious Circle podcast is produced by Two Cousin Road Trip Productions, a division of JX3 Media Productions. The intro music is Unleash the Giants by Cemetery Spawn, and the outro music is Digging Space by Mike Treblecock.